Hello, guys, fans, friends, and family of the Judith TV show. This is the Judith TV show. My name is Judith. In this channel, I talk about marriage and marriage related trending issues. Guys, the trending one is the freeze and the fine that was slammed on him on the allegation of adultery with Benedicta Elechi, now his wife. The news has been going. It's no longer news. I'm sure a good number of people, many of us, must have seen that news. That the appeal court, I mean, the High Court that first sat on that, found him guilty and then fined him 5 million naira. And then he objected and appealed the judgment. And then the appeal court finally, I think last week, also upheld the decision, the judgment of the High Court, and said he should go and pay the 5 million naira. They found him guilty. I saw a post allegedly where he was reacting and he said that it is not true, that he's not guilty, and that he's not going to pay the fine. And then in another one, I saw where he was now saying that, in a kind of a mockery statement, he now was referring to Anita's ex, that, probably the man is hungry and all that. He'll just give it to somebody just to feed people and all that. After all, his wristwatch is worth 100 million naira. When I saw that, I was like, you see, is it the same that the freeze that is always talking about people on his channel and everything? By the way, Daddy Freeze is Dayo. Was it Olarinde? The man we all know as Daddy Freeze. He was married initially to his wife. I can't remember her name now, and they have two beautiful children together, a boy and a girl. But somewhere along the line, a couple of years later, up to 10 years or something, the wife left him. I think the woman relocated to the US with those her children. And then she now alleged that was accusing the Freeze of domestic violence. Yeah, domestic violence basically. I think also even on the children and all that. That there was a time the son was trying to protect her and all that, and the boy was also affected and stuff. And then the woman relocated to the US with the two children. That the Freeze was complaining that time that it's been a long time he has seen his children and she didn't tell him, and that if he should see his children now, he might not even recognize them because it's been a while. However, he met Benedicta Elechi. Benedicta Elechi was also married to Mr. Paul Odekina, Adekina. The man is a human resources manager at Total E&P Nigeria. So he's not a small boy, he's a big guy too. And then they have three children together. But in 2012, according to Benedicta, she filed for a divorce on the allegations that their sexual, that the husband is Gab Gab. You know what I mean? That the man is Gabriel. And that the man was not responsible and he was not giving child support and everything. That she was the only person that was bearing the burden of bringing up the children financially. So she filed for divorce. That was the video that she made in reaction to this fine that was slammed on now her husband, Daddy Freeze. Her husband hasn't spoken, or her ex-husband hasn't spoken actually. Then she also now said that that she has left the man before she met Daddy Freeze, and one thing led to the other. A child resulted, a son, and then they now got married. They wedded in London. I saw a post by one man. I think somebody will go. So I'm not media. Somebody will go. I'll put up the post there. The guy said that Benedicta was still married to Paul, but met Daddy Freeze, fell in love with him, and then left Paul's house to go and start living with Daddy Freeze. And later now became pregnant and then had a son for him. Before Daddy Freeze now went and wedded her in a quiet wedding ceremony in London. Apparently, that was why the husband now sued. I also saw contradictory things like that, I also saw where somebody was saying that the guy had already sued, or yes, no, that Benedicta sued the guy for divorce. But the husband now, that is Mr. Paul, now went and added that he's now suing for divorce because he now discovered the man that, the wife was hanging out with, that he later got pregnant for. Let me start it from one side, from one end, and then now graduate. I saw a post by, okay, let me start with Benedicta, the post that she made. I mean, the video that she made in reaction to this. I've just said the one that Daddy Freeze said, where he was saying that he will not pay, that his wristwatch is 100 million. Daddy Freeze, I don't know how you can be saying a thing like that. I just don't know how you can be saying. If you think that is a thumbs up for you, no, it's not. It's not. How can you be saying you wear a wristwatch of one? No wonder you were telling youths at one time that they shouldn't be buying lands, that they should come and be buying wristwatches and all that. This is not the right time to say that your wristwatch is 100 million naira when you know a lot of people cannot even afford one square meal. You might tell me you are not responsible for feeding people, but at least you should be sensitive enough to address the issue on ground, not talking about 100 million naira wristwatch. I mean, what point are you trying to score? And then again, the post that I saw allegedly, because it wasn't a video, it was just a post where allegedly the person that put up the post was saying that the free said he will not pay the amount of money. There's no way you can be saying that, because that will now be that you're now disobeying the law. And if you disobey the law, I hope you know the consequences. So you shouldn't say that. The most important thing for me is that since both courts, as in the High Court and the Appeal Court, has upheld that is the Appeal Court upholding the judgment of the High Court. Now I think that the freeze has gone to Supreme Court. You just await the decision of the Supreme Court, because is there any end in sight? That's what I said in this video. If the Supreme Court now rules in agreement with these other people, you just have to pay. But if the Supreme Court now says no, that you don't have any case to answer an order, oh, well, good and fine, because the Supreme Court is the apex court in the land, just like the CBN is the apex bank in the land. So Supreme Court is the apex of whatever they rule is now the final of the finals, okay? So for you now to be saying that you're not going to pay, that is alleged. If it is true that the free said that, then I don't see that as a very responsible statement to make at this point in time. Preempting that you're going to disobey the law. That is not a very wise thing to say now. I'm bringing up the idea that you're wearing a 100 million naira watch. It doesn't just make any meaning at all. It doesn't. Apparently, maybe that was what a very dark man saw, and then started dragging the freeze around and said he was going to call him to come to his own live program so that he can come and explain himself, because that's what he's always been doing to people. So I said that about the freeze. Then I come to the video that Madam Benedicta did, where she said that she filed a divorce against her husband, and then she was now trying to state the reasons why she filed for divorce and everything. See, Madam Benedicta, with due respect to you, we are not asking you the reason. I mean, anyway, we didn't even ask you before you now came out to make that video. It is not. It has gone past the stage where you are saying the reason why you sued Mr. Paul, your ex-husband. Okay, you have reasons. You said you caught him with another man and whatever. It is your word against his word. The man has not come out to say whether it is true or not. But even if it is true, and then because of that, you now filed a divorce and now said you want this man to be want to be divorced from this man and all that, before you now made, according to you, before that was in 2012, before you now made Daddy Freeze. I think your song with Daddy Freeze came about 2015 or so, before you now met Daddy Freeze. But the big question, Benedicta, is, was your divorce case concluded? Was that marriage divorced by the court, or was it pronounced divorced before you moved on with Daddy Freeze? That's a very, very important thing, because in that video, you made mention, you referred to May Edochie. Your case and that of May Edochie is not the same. I beg you, they are completely two different things. If you have observed very well, there are people. The first video that May did, the first Instagram live that she did when this thing, was just happening newly and all that. She said there are people that are making passes as that, but she kept on telling them, look, I'm still married. And if you observe up till now, there's no person that May is getting involved with until that case comes to a conclusion where it is now pronounced that, look, this marriage is hereby dissolved or divorced or whatever the way court will pronounce it. Then she can now move on with her life. Then you will now continue with Judy Austin, or since he said it's a polygamy, and now go on to marry more wives and everything. But for now that it's not divorced, it is not done like that, right? If you also recall that case of Rude Boy and Anita got properly divorced. They got properly divorced before Rude Boy met Ivy on December 2023. Today he's married to Ivy, and Anita cannot sue him because they were properly divorced. So there are two different things. If you are not properly divorced, you just file for a divorce and you just move on with the freeze. That is where there's a challenge. You know why? There are people that will file for a divorce, but somewhere along the line, family members or friends and what have you will intervene, or even their church where they worship, if they are Christians, and then people will intervene. People like that will intervene, and at the end of the day, they will withdraw the case and settle out of court. You understand? Some people will end up getting back together. Some other people will settle out of court, and then even though they don't get back together, but at least they will settle after. So if you file for a divorce and assume that court is going to rule in your favor or is going to divorce this and you move on, that is where there's a challenge. I saw the video that was done by, the reaction that was done by Barrister Mecca Ubonye, the man that runs the family law clinic. He was saying that the Freeze didn't commit any offense constitutionally. He didn't commit any offense. That you've already filed for divorce in 2012. And they're now saying that if the divorce should take 4 years, that you shouldn't have intimacy with a man. He was talking about the intimacy as if that is the key thing now, rather than how to bring up your children, how your husband should be strong financially in the life of your children. And the man is busy talking about intimacy, and it's how you tell women not to have intimacy with a man and all that. So if it takes like 4 years, then the person will have to be waiting and all that. That law. That the Freeze didn't do anything, and that people should start dragging him. That some content creators that are given the title of their videos, labeling him as an adulterer or whatever, that it is wrong. I have one or two things to say to the man. First of all, as a lawyer, experienced lawyer that you are, if you feel that the legal system when it comes to divorce is slow, it takes a longer time, you can approach the National Assembly for them to amend the laws. You can also copy the National Judicial Council for them to look into it. But for you to come and say, because you don't tell me as a lawyer that the High Court judge, where a judge sat, because lawyers presented their case for and against. The lawyers of Daddy Freeze and Benedicta, and the lawyers of Paul Dekena, they all presented their case back and forth, for and against. And then the High Court ruled against Daddy Freeze. He appealed, and the appeal court judge, also ruled, upholding the judgment of the High Court. And you, as a lawyer, you are now saying that this man is wrong, which means you are saying that the two courts, as in the High Court and the Appeal Court, that they don't know what they're doing, that they are wrong. That's what you're saying. That's what you're saying by making that statement. So I fought that, because even if you feel that they didn't consider all the things that they should have considered, don't forget that it's fact that as a lawyer you should know. It's the law is not judgment is not given based on sentiment. It's based on the fact that is presented before them. So if you have the opinion that what they ruled, both courts ruled, is wrong, and then the period that people are supposed to, the divorce are supposed to pull through, then you're supposed to approach the National Assembly, write to them, for instance, or even the National Judicial Council. But that position is different from the one you have of May. Otherwise, why is May not moving on with another man? But she is waiting for the court to give a final judgment, which you have also been briefing people on the social media. So I don't understand this, I don't understand the approach of the man, or the position of the man, so to say, okay? And again, I love to bring up an issue where Anita was saying that because she has filed for divorce, and she has reasons to file for divorce and everything, that she has moved on, and that she's in love with Daddy Freeze, or Daddy Freeze loves her or something, that she's happy, and then that Daddy Freeze is helping her to take care of her kids. that you cannot be asking for joint custody when you don't take care of it, referring to her ex-husband now. Yes, there's no woman that will be doing that alone rightly with a man that is married to, and the man will just leave the responsibility of taking care of the children. That is a good one. Okay, there is just not one about that. It is not a good one, right? But the truth about the matter is, as Daddy Freeze is taking care of your children, Madam Benedicta, who is taking care of his children with his first wife? You are happy that somebody is taking care of your own children. But who is now taking care of his own children with his first wife? See, my gender, you see this thing that, that is always happening like this. When a favor source will tend to like, blow it and then try to justify what you are doing and everything, we forgot to think about the fact that there's another woman somewhere along the line that, once is favoring us, that is not favoring this other person for no fault of hers. So if you're happy that Daddy Freeze is taking care of your children, your three children with Mr. Paul, then who is now taking care of his own that is in the US? Because it was the same reason that the wife gave, apparently for domestic violence or whatever reason. So she now left. I don't know whether she filed for divorce or whatever. She left to US with the children. So is that the Freeze now taking care of those children? Even if if he has problems with his wife, right? Does he have problem with his children? The two children he has with that woman, I think a boy and a girl. Does he have problems with them? I don't think he does. So is he taking care of his children? As he's taking care of your own, is he taking care of his own with his first wife? These are the issues. Now, you have come to tell us on the social media by that video that you have done trying to explain one or two things. Madam, this thing, your husband has taken it to the Supreme Court. And then you now coming to tell us, is this for us to tell Supreme Court what to rule or to, I don't know, what position this video is supposed to play now? What role is it supposed to play? If it was even when the High Court ruled the first time that you're even talking about this and everything, and then it will even be more like it. But now, an appeal court has also upheld that decision, that judgment. Maybe it is even your lawyers you should have spoken to, so that the way they presented the case or the way they argued it and all that, they can take a new approach, or probably you change them. But when you now come and tell us that you divorced him in 2000 and you filed for a divorce and all that, since you filed for a divorce, was that divorce concluded or was it still ongoing? Because if it's concluded, you would have showed us evidence of the court rulings, suit that judgment, that you would have showed us that. But there was nothing like that. And even the accusation you were accusing him, of what he did and what you caught him doing and what have you, there's no evidence from you. It was not shown. So I begin to wonder, what is the video all about? Because if you had come with evidences and all that, that would have even been more like it. But there were no evidences. You were just saying that, this man was not strong in the life of his children, and that had you for 11 times or 10 times or whatever, and that, you caught him with somebody else and all that. I am not doubting that you might be right. But what I'm saying is that when you make such an accusations, or there's no proof. You didn't show us any proof. Since you decided to bring it to the online community, you didn't bring any proof. I expected you to like, okay, this divorce was concluded so and so and so time, but I made that difference. Maybe it was concluded in 2000 and I filed in 2012, and it was concluded in 2014. I made the difference in January of 2015. It would have made more meaning, so that we know that, look, yes, this woman and this man, they started their relationship when this other one was. I gave an example of Rude Boy. His own was completely ended. He was completely divorced before he met Ivy, and they carried it on. Today he's married to Ivy. So, but this one, there's nothing like that. Even the accusations, as I said, there was also nothing like that. But like I said, now that the Freeze is helping you to take care of your children, who is now helping the wife to take care of his own children? Or is he doing that too? Maybe he's doing that. Okay, because if you want to tell us that he's a good man, you're happy with him and all that, you should have gone into details, madam. That's just the bottom line of everything. Because what you said was selective. What is like your own side of the story that is not even detailed. It was a little bit selective. That's what I mean. But all in all, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the truth about the matter is that the end of this is in sight, because the Supreme Court that they have taken the case to is the apex court in the land. That is in Nigeria. I know there are other people from other countries that are watching us, but in Nigeria, the Supreme Court of Nigeria is the apex court in the land. So by the time they will now go through the case, review whatever that High Court judge judged, that of appeal court that upheld it, and then they will now come up with their own judgment. So that's why I said that there's an end in sight, because at the end of the day, they will now rule and then now say take a position either for or against. But in all and in all, I want you people to know, especially you, Madam Benedicta, this boy that you gave birth to, and even the other ones, the three of Mr. Paul and the one of the Freeze, don't forget that they are boys. I don't know. I think there's a girl. I don't know whether they are sexes and all that, but at least the Freeze own is a boy. I want to believe there's also one or two boys from Paul or something. I'm not certain now. There's the sexes of the children, but I want to say to you that this video, that's why I said it would have been a better thing for you to talk to your lawyers. If there's any way you feel that they didn't present the matter the way they should have, or if there's any evidence, that you stumbled on while the case was, or even now that Supreme Appeal Court has ruled, it's better for you to approach your lawyers. If you don't like the way they handled it, you can go for another person, so that you present this case to them. What you're also trying to do by that is that you are protecting these children from getting to know this kind of a thing, because it's not a very good thing, morally wrong for this kind of thing for your children to grow up to see it tomorrow. It's not. By the time you start talking about it, so those children that is of Mr. Paul with you had with Mr. Paul, by the time they now grow up to start hearing that their father is Gabriel, how would they feel? You've made your point by filing for divorce. You have lawyers, a team of lawyers I want to believe that you can talk to. But by the time you come and throw it up there on the social media, these children will grow up one day to see it, and before you know it, they'll have access to internet and they will be saying this. That time you've moved on with the Freeze, maybe you people on vacation one way or the other, and these children are on their own, probably left with their peers. Even if you go on a family vacation, it won't be all the time. There will always be a time that you and your husband will have a private time, and these children will just be on their own, either when they go back to school or whatever. That's where I fought this video, because I just was like, so what's the essence of this video now? What is the essence? What is it supposed to achieve? People are doing things and then they are just keeping it off social media once you want to see a positive result, and you're bringing your own there, not minding the children, the children that you have. I don't know how old they are. See, Nino B. Do you know that Nino B has reconciled with his wife? But he was the one that made a post and say, no, I can't go on anymore. I've tried. God knows I've tried. Today, the guy has gone back to his wife. And nobody knows. Quietly, he has gone back. And the wife has forgiven him. They've moved on. But when you come to social media and throw this kind of a thing open like that, at the end of the day, people will start analyzing. To be honest with you, Benedicta, honestly, I don't know you before. I've never heard about you. All I know is that there was a time I heard that the Freeze wedded his wife in a private ceremony in London. Somebody was asking, that the Freeze that is well known in Nigeria, why would he go to London to go and wed and all that, and so quietly and all that? Why is he not doing it here, and so on and so forth? Somebody was like, okay, maybe because your divorce hadn't pulled through, so that was why you went to another country to go and do that. So people will now start analyzing you. People will now get to know you. People will now start dragging you. You might say it doesn't matter. If it doesn't matter to you, what about the children? You now have 4. I think 2 or 3 from Paul and then 1 from the Freeze. And you're still going to have more, because, if you want to have more, that's what I mean. So at the end of the day, these children will now be saying this. This boy that is at the center of it all, okay, you were born into adultery, you were born out of adultery, and so on. How will you feel if you have that kind of a stigma attached to you? It's not the best. It is just not the best. So, let there be an end in sight now that the case has gone to Supreme Court. If Supreme Court rules in your favor, as in that, that the Freeze didn't do a thing like that he didn't break the law, fine. If they also say in their wisdom that, look, it is true, based on the evidence that will be presented before them. Just quietly pay the fine and move on. In the next 1 month, if you be up to, people will forget about it. But when you come on social media and you start talking about it, that people will continue to already. A very dark man said he's going to that he's going to invite the Freeze to come and explain himself, because he has always been inviting people to come and explain themselves. And again, for you now to be referring to May Edochie, how is your case with May Edochie the same thing? May is so smart and so wise in handling hers. There's no relationship whatsoever. And I think if even if you had moved on with or had started dating Daddy Freeze, maybe it wouldn't be obvious. It will not be able to easy to prove. But because a child now resulted, a pregnancy and a child, so you cannot deny it. So sis, to be honest, this idea of coming to social media to now grant that, do that video and all that, honestly, there's no role that that video is supposed to play. Absolutely no role that that video is supposed to play. Talk to your lawyers instead. And then at the end of the day, whatever the Supreme Court rules, you guys should just obey and move on with your lives. Since you said you are happy, you have found love and all that. I don't know whether Mr. Paul, has also remarried or whatever state he is right now. At the end of the day, he too will move on, because you have moved on. You have gotten married to the Freeze. It's no longer a baby mama thing. In fact, the person that made that post said you were you were a baby mama, because as at the time you gave birth to that boy, that the Freeze hadn't married you. That you were a baby mama and all that. So these are the facts that you don't want people to start dragging you, right? You see of a taste the balls or something like that. Please, madam, you are doing well for yourself. Don't allow this kind of dragging. Don't give people the material with which they will use to drag you. That's exactly what I mean. Okay, I just pray that at the end of the day, nerves will calm down, and then await the ruling of the Supreme Court. And then once they rule, it will be obeyed, so that at least you can move on with your life and then live on with the man you have chosen, and the man you said you are in love with and that you're happy with. Okay, that's just my take on this whole thing. I just pray that there will be an end in sight as soon as Supreme Court rules, so that this dragging and all these exposures, will not continue, for the sake of the children, as a matter of fact. Okay, guys, that's it. What I have to say in this video. Um, yes, like I said, we'll all just wait for the Supreme Court to come up with their judgment, so that we'll see if they're going to say yes or if they're going to say no. Whichever way they go, my candid advice to the Freeze and Benedicta is just for them to, if they say uphold the fine that they should pay, for them to just pay the fine and then move on. That's just my opinion, okay? But you guys, you're free to leave your comment at the comment section. Let's see how this thing goes. And once again, I'd like to use this opportunity to congratulate Uncle Nino B for going back to his wife. What I like about this man is that, at every point in time, he accepts that, he's the one that is at fault. He's the one that is always, looking for his wife, wahala and everything. And so at the end of the day, he tries to go forward. He realizes that, look, I love this woman and everything, and he decided to go back. I think that's the wisest thing to do. Honestly, I commend you, B, for doing that, okay? And madam, thank you for forgiving your husband. I know you guys can do better now. Whatever thing that is the problem, you see how to work on it and then improve on it, and then for the sake of your children and so on and so forth, right? Thank you guys for watching this video and for always watching my videos, not just this one, okay? I thank you guys so very much. You are the reason why I'm seated here, right? So, I want to have your comments at the comment section, because it's open and free. Yeah, from there, we'll take it on. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye for now, guys.